Wins are tough to come by, and I don't care what level racing you're at. It takes 110% every time you go race a car. And that's what I do. That's what I try to do every single time, you know, I start that engine and go. When you suit up, lace up, and strap your helmet on with your Hans device, you know, you're really kind of like a gladiator. You know, you're putting on your armor and you're getting ready to do battle. You got to really have that mindset, because if you're tentative, that's not good. You've got to have that go for it attitude and that aggressiveness that you need to push that car to the limit and take it to the edge. You know, there's been times when I put together really fast runs, you know, a perfect run in my mind, and I come in and I look up at the time charts and I'm like 10th fastest, and you go, ooh boy, I got a long way to go and I don't know if I'll get there. But when you're fast right out of the box, when you're in the hunt or in the lead from the very first lap, yeah, that gives you a lot of confidence, and you know you can go faster, you know you can push the car faster. So I knew that we had a good car under us, and it gave me a lot of confidence from the speed stop, knowing that I had a good car. So when we transitioned to the autocross, we had to get that done as well. Well, I like the start. We got an Evo start anyway. It's gonna be fast, I love it.
The time I first saw the autocross course, I knew my car was gonna be better suited for that autocross than last year's autocross here was. Being one with your car and knowing what the car is going to want and not want for an initial setup to run. You know, we don't have a whole lot of runs here. Last place we ran was a more slippery asphalt surface with tighter corners. The corners here are a little more open and flowing. So I'm going to take some rear bar out of this thing, and you know, we'll make a couple runs, and we need to change it, we will. We'll change it again.
To me, it's important to go out right off the bat and drive it like you're going to drive it on your last run, because you get so few runs. You need to get the adjustments you're going to make figured out right off the bat.
Now let's put the gloves on, let's go, and let's see what happens.
I know for a fact that we need to get as many other cars between Ken and I as possible, if I would even happen to win.
We hop from car to car to car, Camaro to Evo to Corvette. So, you know, I just drive it as hard as I possibly can and find that limit as quick as I can, so that, you know, we need to know if we need to make adjustments to shocks and springs. We went over to the autocross and I was watching guys run, and there had been a car in the previous group that had oiled the track down, so I didn't want to go out there right away. I wanted some cars to kind of groove the track in and move that oil dry around and mop up all that oil that was out there. And then Rich started running, and I saw that bang, you know, he was fast right out of the box. He was within a tenth or two of the previous group's times. So I knew it was time for us to go, and I was pretty pumped up. It's kind of like, you know, a football player that's trying to throw a 10-yard pass and he throws a 30-yard pass instead. You know, you're too amped up. And I went out and drove too hard and was all over the track. You know, this thing accelerates so much that I'm out of the throttle and then turning, and then it's just swapping ends with me. It's just, I was very concerned when I came in. It's all coming at me so fast. I'm so far behind the car right now.
Well, it looked like this end up here on this side.
Yeah.
Well, that one was a throwaway.
Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to keep control of this car. I got to figure out how to drive this thing on this track. There just doesn't seem to be any grip, front or rear, you know, and the car is so bloody fast that everything comes at you so fast. I've got to be thinking much quicker than I am. I mean, the car is so powerful, and you know, and there's no grip on either end, so you get so sideways, and by the time you collect it, you know, the track has just passed you by.
From that run, I think he's got at least a second to gain, because how I saw him sliding down there, he lost it. He lost a good second there. If that was all grip, then he'll get it. I'm confident he'll get it.
We always name our cars, and you know, you come up with some cool Black Widow or something like that. I call this car Herbie, because it's just like Herbie the VW, you know, it's got a mind of its own, and I'm just a passenger most of the time. It's doing all the heavy lifting itself. It wants to go, and it probably can go faster than I can drive it, and that's exactly what's happening out there. So I was just trying to tame it down.
We have brand new tires, and the rears are pretty much not scrubbed in yet, so that run, I told him it will get sideways. That's exactly what it did, so hopefully it gets better on this run. We will see.
You know, we just kind of wasted our first lap on both sides of the track. So now, you know, it was time to calm down, and we need to get a solid run in. And my next time out, bang, fastest time of the day at that point on the right-hand side of the slalom. I trusted him on that one. I wasn't quite convinced, but now I am. I was worried there for a little bit. We still got 2 runs to go. It's like popping a wheelie off the line. It has so much power, it's literally getting a wheel stand off the line. That's all I can do is shift right away before I overrev the engine. And then I got to slow down because I'm going so fast so quickly. I would really like to run this in a quarter mile. I bet it's a 10-second car. It's that fast.
As soon as I saw that right-hand stick, I'm like, that's it, that's it, that's it.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much left. Yeah. It's like, whoa. Actually, it's driving me. I'm not driving it. 25.9 on the right was easy. It was easy. I wasn't even trying. I was just trying to keep it on the road.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you have competition and everybody's going tooth and nail, toe to toe the whole time, you know, it strives to make you better, tries to make you learn more. You know, it makes it more interesting for sure. I'd rather just blow him out of the water and been resting, but you know.
Danny's 25.9 now too, so we just need to hang with him.
It doesn't matter. There's no one in between us.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
And Rich isn't going any faster, huh?
Yeah, we're right where we need to be, bud.
Okay, good.
So what's the score right now? What's Wilhoff?
25.9 and a 26.1, so we'll see what happens.
So was that all driver right there?
Yeah, that was me pissed off.
You know, we managed to eke out a second place there by 5/100ths of a second. So it was great news. Nice.
Yeah, nice work. Yep. Warrior down here.
All weekend we've been cruising. All Saturday, you know, all we were doing is putting gas in the car. But now they were doing an alignment on the car, and the rear end alignment was way off. And we found that there's a stripped alignment bolt in there, and that was one of the reasons why we were kind of all over the road on the autocross yesterday. That explains a lot.
Well, last night during the rally, I noticed the car was driving kind of dog tracking. The back end was going to the right. So this morning we decided to check the alignment, and the driver's side was towed in ½ an inch. That's causing it to drive the car, the back end of the car to the right. So, and then we found out it's got the cam bolt was stripped. So we had to get a solution for that. Since we can't find one soon enough, we had to just tack it in place.
Now here it's Sunday morning, and once again we're thrashing to get the car fixed and ready to go. But that's why Ronnie's here, to find stuff like that. I'm feeling pretty good about things because, hey, we're leading the event. And I know that if we have a good day, if we're able to run and put down a fast lap right from the get-go, we have a really good chance of winning this competition. And I'm pretty excited about it.
So nerve-wracking.
It is absolutely nerve-wracking.
Let's go. Get a watch.
They call our session a grid, and we get up there early so we're at the front of the grid. It was Danny, Rich, and then me out on our first session for our hot laps. We go ahead and take off on our 3/4 warm-up lap. Everything feels great. We go ahead and come around to get the green flag, and I felt like if I could just hang on to Rich a little bit, just kind of keep in touch with him, that he'd tow me around and give me a good lap. By the time I got to the second corner, boom. Fluid comes out of the car, I spin in my own fluid, and I'm off the track in 2 corners. That's it. All I need is 1 lap, and I got this thing in the bag. But instead, we spin in our own fluid, and usually that means a blown engine, and our day's done. My whole world came crashing down right there. 0 to 0 in 2 seconds flat. I just wanted 1 lap. That's all I needed is 1. And we didn't make it. Ronnie checked it out, hood goes up, we look at things, and you know what? He says, I got it.
The coolant line popped out. It's got this aftermarket line on here, so the clamp didn't like it too much. Exciting.
Oh, we're still in this one. Oh, I thought we were done. We started the engine back up, you know, refilled it full of fluid, coolant, and the engine just didn't run right. And then we determined that it was a blown head gasket. So now our hopes were dashed again, and the head has to come off the car. Ronnie and everybody was calling to see if we could buy a head somewhere in town, and that wasn't working out. So the next thing, plan B, was to go find somebody that had an Evo in the pits. And there were 2 guys that got the Golden Ticket Award, and we were able to talk our way into borrowing the head off of one of the Evos, and that's what we did. We struck a deal, and we pulled that head off of that car, that perfectly running car. We've got 3 hours to repair this engine to get 1 lap in this competition. 3 hours. The not knowing you're going to make it doesn't get easy. If I knew we were going to make it for sure, then mentally I would be prepared, but we still don't even know if it's going to run. So I have to be ready to go at all times. You've seen it throughout the year. You know, guys working on the car, getting it together at the last second. You know, I get 1 lap. That's just the nature of the beast for me. I've got to be ready to go, ready to pull the trigger at the very last second. So, you know, let's hope they get it done. Usually something like that takes all day long, but you know what? The guys jumped into this. These guys worked their tail off and worked their tail off, and it was going to be tight. Danny never spins. Danny's got control of that car at all times. He's got amazing car control. But he had an alternator failure, which caused an ABS failure, which caused him to spin 4 off, and they had to shut down the track to clean it up and pull him out of the weeds. Thank you. Thank you.
I meant to do that in the next session early.
That allowed us another 15 minutes to get the car fixed. They did it. The head got on. They were calling us to grid. We turned the key, and boom, the engine fired right up, and we're ready to go.
Firing. Fire.
Oh my goodness, it sounds great.
Well, it's pretty amazing they got together. I wasn't sure whether they were going to be able to do it, but there it is. Results speak for themselves.
You know, at that point, the pressure's really on. You know, we have 1 shot, 1 lap to run the winning time, or at least get a good enough time to make the podium. That was our goal going in. I wanted to make the podium. And I just figured if I was close enough to the podium, I might as well be close enough to be at the top step. I just couldn't roll the dice and just flat go for it, because what happens if I fall off the track? What happens if I spin out and throw that lap away? Then we'd lose everything. So I had to be aggressive, but I couldn't be too aggressive and blow that lap completely. So it was a fine line to walk, and we went out. We were last on the grid because we hadn't gone out all day. I let the pack get ahead of me, and when it came time to get the green flag, I had the whole place to myself, and I stood on the gas. And we drove that car as hard as we possibly could without crashing. It just didn't run right, just didn't have the power that we had the day before, but it was good enough for, 149.8. I came in and they said I was 8th, and 8th overall would win us the competition. And I was pretty stoked, I was pretty happy. I thought we had done it. Then I found, so now the emotions are up here. It's like, wow, we pulled this off. Isn't this an amazing story? We better make sure it's official before we start celebrating. You know how that goes. But in the end, I was only 8th quickest for that session alone, and I ended up 16th overall. Gave it our all without crashing a car. I was a little worried there at somewhere along the line. I almost went off in turn 1 on the first lap. So I didn't know if I finished 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Nobody knew, because nobody knew the design and engineering scores. So we had to wait at the podium when they announced 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place.
In 2nd place, with a point total of 483 points, car number 31, the 2006 Mitsubishi Evo of Ken Twaits.
We knew Danny Pop had won. Congratulations to Danny, did a great job. You can't beat that guy by running 100% on Saturday and not running 100% on Sunday. So he deserved it. He ran 100% both days, won the competition. We did well enough in design and engineering, and we found out that we had tied for 1st place with Mike Dussault and his Camaro. So after Saturday, after 4 of the 5 events, we had 100 points in road rally, we had 100 points in speed stop, we had 100 points in design and engineering, and out of 400 points, we got 99 points on Autocross for a total of 399 out of 400. So we only left 1 point on the table after Saturday. That was pretty incredible. So it was pretty obvious, I really had a chance to win this race, and all I needed was that one good lap, but it didn't happen for me. The guys did great. The Willwood brakes did great. Thank you to Pennzoil. Thanks to Center Force. Thanks to MTI and Detroit Speed all year long. Thanks to Forgeline. They've been a great help to us. We tried our best. We came up just a little bit short. So, 2nd place, I guess we have to take that. We'll have to see what happens next year.